All right, let's get started. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'm very pleased to introduce Shu Kong, who is visiting as part of TSVP through August. Shu did his PhD at UC Irvine and finished in 2019. And then after a couple stops at top universities in the United States, he's now an assistant professor at the University of Macau. And he is an expert on computer vision and automated identification of images in everything from fossil pollen to human emotions to fake art to your papers are about pretty much everything. This is really exciting as it takes a human a very long time to develop the skills to identify pretty much anything. And so I hope that he can convince you that we need better tools for this. So please go ahead, Shu.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren, for the intro. It's an honor to be here to talk to people, to exchange ideas. By talking to different people, I realized that we need AI to accelerate our scientific discovery. So that's why I want to talk about AI. And I know some people are scared by AI because of a lot of things, and we would have a look at them, the catastrophic failures. I want to throw out this question: how can we think of AI? Depending on the angle from which we look at AI, we can say AI is a mirror. We want to build AI systems to mimic our common sense, knowledge, and behavior. Right? So we want to use AI to replace ourselves to do some labor work. So AI is a mirror of ourselves. And what is AI? Maybe we can say AI is a tool. So based on the tool, we can do faster search for our answers to some questions by typing in ChatGPT. And then we can have AI as our driver. Like Tesla. AI can drive our cars for ourselves. And then we can use AI to generate PowerPoints, like presentation slides using cloud AI. And AI can probably have stuff for you and deliver something to remote areas. All of them are AI, but for scientific research, we all know AlphaFold. AI can generate protein structures to accelerate our discoveries, right? And regarding why we use AI, if we use AI in a smart way, we can accelerate every other industry and science. And we all know AlphaFold for sure, but with AI we can improve economy, entertainment to make people happier. Of course, the condition is that we know how to use AI in a good way. And importantly, AI is a discipline. Within AI, we study machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and so on and so forth. Right? In one sentence, AI is an academic, scientific, and engineering field of study. And many people need to delve into AI every single detail to improve AI. And actually, AI can be an infrastructure. We use AI every day. Like, if we want to go somewhere, we just use Google Map. And Google Map runs AI algorithms under the hood, and that can estimate the time you have to take from OIST to aquarium. AI has to consider the traffic condition to do that. And actually, when you reply to someone in email, OIST has the Copilot, which is an AI product of Microsoft. And you can turn on so that you can do easy work, right? So based on the definitions, why we care about this talk, basically, I want to deliver a message to you that we can use AI as a mirror to mimic our expertise to do scientific research. And we can use AI as a tool to accelerate our scientific research or discoveries. So based on the talk, hopefully after that, you can learn some basics of modeling. You can understand a failure mode of AI so that you don't need to be afraid of using it. And importantly, after the talk, I hope that you can embrace and collaborate with AI for your scientific research. All right, this is a roadmap for this talk. I will first scare you with some catastrophic figures of AI, and then I want to poke AI and dive into the details. What are the core techniques of AI? We call them foundation models. And we will see foundation models biases, and it's a training data imbalance. And I will introduce some simple methods to reduce the bias so that we can improve AI. After that, I will divert a little bit to talk about AutoExpert, which is the motivation why we care about AI to learn from our expertise to help us analyze our scientific data, right? Okay, let me scare you with this feeder mode or feeder case. This is Tesla 3. This little guy, and it's running on autopilot. You can call this autonomous driving system. And this is a very jarring overturned truck. Everyone can see it, but Tesla Model 3 cannot see it. Wait, what happened? Let me play again. So, you also see this person, right? So Tesla Model 3 cannot see the person, cannot see the overturned truck. Then this is unbelievable, unpredictable, catastrophic, and even fatal. But the good thing is that no one got hurt. That's good. Actually, we also saw some failure cases related to ethics, right? Both Google, Facebook had this kind of issue, and they have to take down the products they built already. And actually, even worse, Alex from Amazon has a kill yourself if you feel hurt in some way, so that you don't feel hurt in the long run. So you see that those are unbelievable. Those are figures, right? So that's why we should be scared, right? But wait a minute, I want to demystify AI and the bedrock of AI, of modern AI, which is foundation models. Basically, in every modern AI system, we have foundation models running under the hood. What is a foundation model? Basically, foundation model is a type of machine learning model. We train the model over massive data. Where we have data, we have an open world like internet. From the internet, we collect the data, text data, images, videos, structured data, tables in Excel, audio, so on and so forth, you name it. After we collect the data in billion scale, we train a very large model with billions of parameters, hundreds of billions of parameters. The model is so large that you cannot save it in your laptop. This can be up to 400 gigabytes. So that's why we call a large language model or large whatever models. That is a large model. Actually, when we train a model, we need a supercomputing infrastructure. Like we use thousands of GPUs. If we don't know GPU, maybe Sam Altman says, to train GPT-4, which is an early version of ChatGPT, they spend $100 million. So it's large. Based on the types of data you train the foundation model, you can use the foundation model to different tasks. Like if you want to use the foundation model to answer your question in language, then you can use a large language model to do question answering. If you want the foundation model to analyze your image data, you can use a vision language. Basically, this is a catalog of foundation models. We have a vision language model here. We have a large language model. We have a large vision model, so on and so forth. So all types of foundation models pre-trained or massive data collected from the open world internet, right? And in this talk, I will motivate everything from by using GPT-4V. Of course, we know GPT, but what does GPT stand for? It stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer version 4 for vision. So GPT-4V, that's it. And actually from the name, we can see the training method is generative training, and the model architecture, large model architecture is a transformer, right? So we train them this kind of foundation models over massive data. And GPT-4V is wonderful. If you don't want to read the slide yourself, you can upload the picture and ask the GPT to read it for you. If you cannot comprehend the handwritten letter, you can take a picture and upload to GPT, and GPT can translate that for you, right? So it's wonderful. But how to train a vision language model? Here's the thing. We still resort to open world data. In the internet, Wikipedia, we can download a lot of pages or image text pairs. You can see when you do this, you will have a pair of image and its description. So those are the training data to train a vision language model. During training, we actually train two models in the vision language model. One model is called an image encoder. The image encoder is trained to encode the given an input image to an image feature. And the text encoder is learned to encode text input to some features. Remember that we can collect a massive data, billions of image text pairs. We can input a bunch of pairs like that to train the model. If the one training batch has n pairs, then we have n by n tables recording the similarity between every pair of image feature and the text feature. Because we sample pairs, we know by chance the diagonal of the entries should be ideally perfect. The similarity should be what? Should be the highest. All diagonal values should be minimized. Right? So that is the mechanism. People just train the model using a loss to mimic the intuition. People minimize the loss by tweaking the parameters inside the image encoder and text encoder. So people just train for several days or weeks using GPU, and people are done. And after training, we can use the model. Okay.
No, I just heard from a friend who is in a Zoom that she would love if you can speak to the microphone, that they cannot hear it very
well. I will stand here.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. After the model is trained, we can use the model to do image understanding. Oh. Okay, how to? Okay, so interesting. All right. Okay. Now we have the data, the trained model, right? If we want to recognize what's going on in one test image, we just input the test image to the trained image encoder, and then we have the corresponding image feature. And we have a bunch of candidate names, like species names or object categories listed like that. And then we develop or design a prompt template, like a photo of a car, a photo of a dog, so on and so forth. Then by replacing the object with the specific names, we just feed all of them into the trained text encoder, then get the corresponding text features. And because we train the model to increase the similarity between the paired image and text, we can calculate the similarities between this image feature and all candidate text features and select the text, the name corresponding to the highest similarity. So that is the mechanism to do image understanding using the trained vision and language model. You can imagine that the similarity can serve as a confidence score. The higher similarity you have, the more confident the model predicts the label, the corresponding label, right? So that is the bedrock of ChatGPT 4V or foundation vision language model for visual recognition. And actually, I like failure cases of fancy products. So I want to hack ChatGPT using this kind of image and ask GPT to tell me what is the animal species of this image. And actually, GPT fails. GPT says, oh, this is a European adder. And maybe you don't know European adder. They look like this. So you see, it's a totally wrong, right? And actually, I tried many more AI products like GPT-4V, the official one, and DALL-E 3, which is another product of OpenAI to produce images by taking input as the text description. So I let it generate an image, but it fails. So AI, the way people train AI is to use the internet scale data, right? The AI has seen all the data on internet, why it fails. Why? So we're gonna answer this question. My hypothesis is that vision language models and all other AI products insufficiently solve some certain data taxa which have insufficient observations or data available on internet. So that is my hypothesis, but how to prove it, how to justify this? Actually, the idea is very simple. Let's count the number of data belonging to the certain taxa. Remember that we have a massive data at a billion scale. And actually, Line is one open source, a large scale data. People use that to train open source foundation models. And when people collect this kind of large data set, people purposefully collect balanced data, like, oh, they list 500,000 queries or names, then they download the data from the internet, then they say, oh, we approximately cost balance the results. So it seems that by reading the paper, we have quite a controversial hypothesis, right? But we still need to prove it. And importantly, it's not easy to count because like you see, we have a pre-training data, we have training data, pairs of images and text. How to say, this is all cat or this is a man cat or what, right? It's not easy to count. It's not a class label, which is kind of like occurrence of observations. So in language processing, we call those issues lexical variation, meaning that we have synonyms to point to the same thing. And another issue is the linguistic ambiguity. Like, oh, if we say a tiger, maybe that is an animal like that, or tiger shark, or tiger woods, right? So we have to address the two issues to really count by counting the string or occurrence of the keywords. So how to address the issues? Actually, we use a large language model to help us. For example, if we care about a tiger concept, we have the definition, and we can ask a large language model or GPT to list the synonyms for us. And then we use all the synonyms to count the captions or text in the large scale data set. And after we have the text retrieved from the data set, we ask the large language model again to to say to see whether a specific caption or text is really have the same meaning of the definition of a tiger. So we can filter the irrelevant text or pairs of data. So after that, we can count the concepts or text that we care about. So we have this very simple method to go through all the text, and then we can evaluate using ImageNet. ImageNet is a very famous data set in computer vision. It has 1,000 object categories, and it has a test set. The test set has 50 images for each categories, and the names, the object names, are sampled from a WordNet. It's like a dictionary, and people just sample 1,000 common names there. So we use a line 400 million, meaning the scale of the data, to do the count the observations for each of the object class. And then we sort the class names. And we also have a larger data set, 2 billion scale. And then we just plot the distribution according to the sorted class IDs based on line 400 million. And we see almost the same trend of the class distribution. And you can imagine that the 2 data sets collect the data from the internet, and we just uniformly subsample the 400 million version from the 2 billion version, and actually they really reflect the distribution of the real open world, right? We see, oh, there's an imbalance distribution of the class names or concepts. And we can also evaluate different vision language models to recognize the images from the test data. And we can plot the curves for each of the foundation model. And we see, oh, all the foundation models have the same trend of biased performance for the classes, which is bucket the classes to make it better looking. All right. Based on the imbalanced distribution and the biased performance, we can poke every single class under the hood, and we see, oh, the species of a night snake is very insufficiently seen by the models, right? So that's okay, by counting the observations of at least of class names from the large scale data set, and then by evaluating the imbalanced performance of different foundation models, we sort of justify that AI agents, AI products have not seen enough data for certain taxa or class names, right? So at this point, we demystify the failure mode of AI products. And if we think back, why Tesla Model 3 crashed into an overturned truck, maybe we can say Tesla's training data does not contain overturned truck enough. That's why the trained model by Tesla cannot recognize, oh, that is an overturned truck or plastic bag, right? So that is one explanation. Actually, by counting, we have some insights. Like, oh, the first one, the AI cannot do the work for you. It has no expertise for species level recognition. Like here, if we want to use AI to recognize images by giving it 800 species or 200 bird species, can the model or GPT recognize the bird species? For me, actually the accuracy is quite low. 100% is perfect. And this kind of better than random guess, just it. And remember that when we do this, we have a vision language model, and we have a testing image as input, get image feature, and then we have a candidate names like those, 200 names for birds, and let it select the highest confident prediction, and that is the predicted label. Right? That is the pipeline. But when we count, we consider synonyms, and then we know for a specific scientific name or taxa, we have a more frequently seen synonym, right? So based on this insight, why not just replace the scientific name with the common English name to do the prompting? Actually, when we replace the scientific name with a more frequent English common name, and then we can prompt ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can boost the performance significantly. So from here, we justify that, okay, if we inject a little expertise to AI agent, it can work for us better than before. So that's that we should speak the same language as AI to make it work for you. So that's it. Actually, if we use AI to recognize species or frog species, of course, we should list a bunch of frog species we want to analyze, right? And instead of naively prompting AI to recognize the images, we should do some actual work. Like, remember, we have open data, we have open resources, publicly available foundation models, right? Then, if you have data, you can contribute with some data. If not, retrieve data from the open resource from the internet. Then you have a small training data like this. Then you can grab an open source foundation model and then do a little bit of fine tuning. So after that, we can have a better fine-tuned foundation model to work for you. I just wrote out there the improvement. If we use open source resources, retrieve the data, and fine-tune a foundation model, we can significantly outperform many AI agents or products like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Microsoft something. I will talk about the data sets later, but here we just depict the accuracy. The higher, the better, right? Okay, now we learn. Oh, this is an AI agent, and then behind the scene we train foundation models, and especially we talk about a vision language model. But here, after we know a little bit about modern AI and the core technique behind ChatGPT, we ask, can we safely use AI to analyze our domain data? Right? Our domain data can be from palynology, the ant, fish, ichthyology, and birds, so on and so forth, right? Then this is a very novel stuff from me. I call this AutoExpert. I want to move on slowly. So here, let's imagine you are the expert. You have some data, you collect data, and you want to analyze the data, right? Actually, you can write down in Google Doc how to analyze the data, like what species you care about, and the morphological traits you want to pay attention to. Of course, you don't need to write down, but it's better to write down so that you can train other people. Right? Then we should analyze data. And actually, if you don't train, okay, here is a thing to motivate the why we care about our expertise. If we don't use expertise to do anything like autonomous driving, if we just grab AI to detect the cars to do autonomous driving, AI cannot match autonomous driving experts' criteria. And here, the red, okay, sorry, the green box are something from AI. And the red box is something annotated by experts. Why we have such a large discrepancy between AI's output and expert annotation, because AI doesn't consider safety issues. Because when autonomous driving experts annotate data, they consider, okay, the motion of the big truck, right? It has the two parts, the trailer and the head. And if the car needs to consider the bicycle, if a rider is there, then the car just need to detect the person and bicycle as a whole thing, right? People don't need to, or the model doesn't necessarily need to detect the person and bicycle separately. From here, you see the AI has a common sense. It knows, oh, this is a bike. It's not wrong. It is a truck. It's not wrong, but it just doesn't serve autonomous driving or safe autonomous driving, right? And we see clearly there's a misalignment between AI and experts, right? So that's why in industry, in autonomous driving, people hire people. Experts hire ordinary people to annotate data for them. So how to hire, how to train them, and autonomous driving experts just collect data and design the instructions how to annotate data. And then they use the instructions to train ordinary human annotators to follow the instruction to annotate data for you. And because we know, there's a clear misalignment between AI and experts, we let them annotate data and use the labeled data to train our expert model for autonomous driving. So that is that, AI has common sense, but it doesn't have expertise for safe driving. And that's why we need to annotate our data and train our model, our expert model. And this is the paradigm nowadays in industry. And actually, if you know Scale AI, which is a big name for data labeling company, they provide an annotation service. And there are way more data labeling companies like Voxel 51. They have you annotate all kinds of data as long as you provide the instruction for them. So that is the de facto paradigm nowadays in industry to solve AI for health, AI for manufacture, for safe driving, for indoor robotics, medical image analysis, so on and so forth. So that is the industry stuff. And actually, in many disciplines, people need to annotate data, or in some disciplines, people call this coding. For example, this is for applied behavior analysis, and professionals must sit there to watch the kid with autism, how they behave, so that they can develop intervention strategies. But professionals have to sit there, observe them, noting down something behaviors, interfering behaviors. It's a very time-consuming and very expensive, right? So the motivation is that how about we use AI to replace professionals to analyze the long video to detect the interfering behaviors, so on and so forth. And actually, from Lawrence lab, we have an underwater camera to take long hours video, and then we care about the fish species. And actually, we know, we care about this kind of fish species, then we have the trait descriptions. So can we use AI to automatically detect and identify the fish species for ourselves, so that we can study biodiversity for marine science. And from another group, Vincent, here, they have a developmental dynamics study. They need to analyze the fish stages in their life. And they also have some fish, clownfish, in some water, and they take pictures and analyze the morphological traits. And actually, all of them have to be done by experts, right? Ordinary people maybe can do this, but they are not trained by you. So you have to do this by yourself. And for others, of course, we analyze biodiversity by looking at the birds. Similarly, we analyze the long videos. We don't like this because the whole procedure is labor-intensive, tedious, and costly, right? You, as experts, have to sit there for 1 day, 1 week, looking at the video, right? And annotations or coding can be error-prone, and can be subjective, can be biased, and can be inconsistent because you have colleagues helping you, right? So the question is, how about we use AI like here to analyze your data, to follow your instructions, to do all the work, right? So AI has a common sense, and AI is like a 6-year-old child. You can teach them by providing the instructions, and then you can tweak AI a little bit according to your instruction. Then AI can analyze your data for you, and when you set AI the instruction data, and AI learns a little bit, then send back some results, and you can monitor the progress. You can, keep at a high level of the results. But anyways, I want to develop this research protocol to study whether we can do that, to leverage AI to analyze our domain data. So the research protocol is like this. We have a training data, like, each species of the birds, 16 species images plus trait descriptions, like that. And after we fine-tune a model or adapt the model, whatever method we want to use, we evaluate the new model, the new AI agent. How to do that? We just report a mean of per class accuracies on a held out test set. So the higher number or the higher accuracy is the fine-tuned model, adapted model is better, right? Of course, we have a bird species. We also have all kinds of, the families or classes to do the work. Actually, we have like a dozen data set benchmarks to do that. And now let's have a look at the methods we develop. First, like I mentioned quickly, we can fine-tune a foundation model. A foundation model can be lightweight, but as we adapt foundation model, we must grab an open source foundation model so that we have all the parameters. A GPT has in-house private models, and we cannot get them, but that's fine. We can still get a pre-trained foundation model to adapt the model or future train or fine-tune the model based on your data. The data is provided in your guidelines or annotation instructions, right? So that is the one method. We call this expert model by fine-tuning a lightweight foundation model. And the other is, let's go for AI. Just ask the AI, what is the name or common name or bird species of this image? So this is maybe how we use ChatGPT to analyze our image data, right? So maybe you can guess which one is better. Maybe it's hard to guess, but the observation is that the expert model is way better than AI-based agent. Even though we tried a common name or whatever, let it output a common name, it cannot match the expert model. Of course, some people may wonder, we don't have enough data. Do we have overfitting issues or not? Or right? And actually, if you fine-tune a pre-trained foundation model, we don't have that issue. And because the foundation models have seen enough data, even though foundation models do not own expertise, they see enough data for you to adapt. So that's amazing, but we can move on, right? In AI field or machine learning, people develop many more tricks. Like here, we can prompt AI to reason. Let's think step by step. If people inject this kind of a prompt, AI usually perform better. So we call this AI prompting with a chain of thought. Another is instead of thinking step by step, this method asks AI to output an explanation. So forcing AI to explain is another way to improve AI's performance. But do they work? Actually, they don't work well. They barely improve over the naive AI prompting, which is here. Right? We just ask the AI to recognize the bird species for us. Then maybe a better method is that instead of naively asking AI to recognize the bird species, we can list the vocabulary of a bird species we care about, right? And then let it choose one out of the vocabulary or dictionary, right? People call this in-context learning. And interestingly, AI prompting with in-context learning helps here when the benchmarks do not have too many candidate species, right? Especially here. So that maybe in hindsight, that is understandable because the AI has some token restrictions. If you input too many things, AI cannot memorize what you are talking about, right? We will want to input a very concise information so that AI can relate to what you said, what you request to the task. Okay, this is good, right? Actually, from here, we have insights. Remember that we have an expert model. We fine-tune a lightweight foundation model based on the very limited data from the instructions. And the expert model can output a top 5, top 3 classes. And usually, the correct label is in the top 3 or top 5. That is one insight, right? So for example, if we use an expert model to recognize the bird species or insect species, the top 1 is wrong, but that's fine. The correct one is within the top 3. And we can quantitatively justify this. It's not surprising. If we use a very strict metric, like top 1 accuracy, we have this kind of accuracy. But if we relax this a little bit by allowing reporting top 5 accuracy, then we have a higher number. Then I say, why not we just use the fine-tuned expert model to output top 5, and then let AI select 1 out of the 5, right? So that is the pipeline. We fine-tune the foundation model, and we call this expert model. After that, we let the expert model output the top 5 candidate classes. And because we have visual examples as well from the instruction, we combine the predicted top 5 labels and the corresponding visual examples in a multi-model prompt. I will show this later. And then use the prompt to prompt the AI agent to select or rank the 5 for me. And then the top 1 ranked one is the predicted label. So that is the very simple pipeline by leveraging expert model and an AI agent. So that is the multi-model prompt. That is running after the expert model. The expert model gave me the top 5, and based on the top 5 species, I just grab the visual examples from the instructions and then put them there and let the AI foundation model or AI agent to rank. Of course, I also inputted the confidence score from the expert model to give the bigger AI agent some confidence. What is my preliminary evaluation on the possible species? And when we do this, we call this POC, because we do this for, we use AI to post-hoc correct the predictions from the expert model. And when we do this, we significantly improve the accuracy for image recognition on the species level, right? So that is amazing. And we can also focus on each of the data set and plot the confusion matrix and see how we are POC and correct the misclassifications by the expert model. And now we have a better results. Of course, POC can make new mistakes, but that's why statistically the method works. I also study what kind of fine-tuning methods or foundation models to fine-tune by fixing the AI agent, which is here. And the story that the POC can work with diverse expert models trained by different methods over different backbones. And by fixing the expert model, which is here, I also use different AI agents like GPT-5, Quinn, so those. And then we can see, as long as we use a very powerful AI agent, we can improve species recognition significantly. Okay, then I guess from here, I demonstrate AI expert synergy for AutoExpert, automatically annotated domain data by following expert crafted annotation guidelines. Okay, then we can answer this question. Can we safely rely on AI to analyze our domain data, right? Like from ecology, biology? I guess the answer is yes and no, right? We see AI is not smart enough. It has no expertise to work for you, but we should be able to use AI. Just embrace open source resources, open data from the open world, and open source foundation models to fine tune a little bit. And after that, if you don't know how to make it work, maybe get a little help from an AI expert like me. Okay, that is the final thing of the talk. Thank you for staying here. And I gotta thank all my collaborators from not only computer science, but also biology, ecology, palynology. That's why I come up with this framework, AutoExpert, to democratize AI to everyone. All right.
Are there any questions? Yep.
Probably not. So the example you developed, the sort of classic machine learning problem of labeling images, how does AI do relatively on other types of problems which come up?
Other science?
Other kinds of problems. So you can use it with equations. You can use it with text. So the questions of sufficient data for training still arise, but they're not exactly the same thing. So have you looked at how reliable it is there?
Yeah, personally, I didn't have the chance to look at others like physics, math, but I believe AI experts and mathematicians should talk to each other to understand the problem better.
We found the current models are pretty reliable in those contexts.
Got it. Equation,
certainly not at the 20%. Certainly better than that.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know. But computer vision is harder than
maybe.
Yeah. Right, thanks.
So I had sort of like let's say a broader question about how your work connects to sort of democratization as well as, the title of the talk, which is, called AI Agnostophobia, right? And so on one hand, I think for scientists, there is a lot of manual work that we need to do, which can be accelerated. And it feels like, a lot of what you're suggesting is related to that. But then there's, on the other hand, like the ability or the capacity to sort of like do intellectual and creative work. And so, for example, with mathematics, for example, these days there's some new papers coming out where like the AI models are part of like the author list just because, you prompt the AI consistently and then, like it gets to the point where it just like spits out a proof that people have been thinking about for like 15 years or so. So where do you see sort of like scientists, sort of using AI the most? Is it going to be mostly about sort of, automating a lot of, sort of this grunt work that, we would sort of give off to bachelor students, or like, is it going to be part of our sort of intellectual life as well, like in the future?
I think both should happen. Like the tedious work, of course, we can use AI, especially computer vision techniques. That is my expertise. That's why I know, we should do this. But for your case, your question, can we use AI to inspire us with some novel ideas or directions to pin us? I think we can, but for example, if we have DNA data, massive DNA data to study, I don't know, eDNA, so on and so forth, we can train a model to sparsify some DNAs so that that can inspire you to look at that DNA, this gene, so that you know what's going on with the environmental change and the effects to some species. Then so I guess from here we use AI to alert, but we still need to dive into the data to explain. So I think from here that is one kind of inspiration by using AI. Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much for a great talk. Somewhere you talk about the expert. It is a in context learning actually, or is it different?
You mean?
No, that before this. When you describe by this, yes.
So this. We don't.
I guess it was before that you use an expert model to describe the using the chat. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. It's not exactly the in context learning.
So the descriptions are from an expert. If you care about one species, you know how to describe the traits, right? It's not from any learner model. It's from your expertise.
Okay. Human expertise.
Yeah. Expert designed that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Right, so it's 4 now. So in that case, thank you very much for a great talk. And Shu will be here until August 3rd. And so if you have any other questions or you want to talk about any projects that you have, he's completely open to it. So you can find him in his office in the TSVP space. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.